on here, and
Hey, Pat.
Yes, Joseph.
How are you doing?
I had a little knee bender today. I came out of it better than I did my last time that I had rehab, and I'm driving. Started driving yesterday, so that's good. Next week, I will be in attendance.
Wow. It's coming along.
Yeah, it is. I am now. I was 110 at the knee bending degrees, and you got to get to 120 before you're happy. So
Okay.
whatever the heck that is, but it's doing better. Although it's very unpredictable. Some days you think you're feeling good, and the next day it hurts like hell. So it's. But I'm finally optimistic about it. Not that the left knee is ever going to have the same experience. I can guarantee.
No,
that's on its own. That's it's got its own problems too.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Were you someplace where you saw my friend Leonardo?
No.
DiCaprio. Oh,
He was over at St. Bart's.
Oh, okay.
I've never been in that part of the world.
Okay, and he has his new girlfriend.
He had a gal with him, Pat. Yeah.
Because Leonardo and I are pretty much buddies because we relieved ourselves next to each other at the Staples Center, and we sat there, I stood there, I looked over at him, and said, I've repeated this story many times. I said, "How you doing?" And he said, "Good." And I said, "That's what I expected you to say." So,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, right. He was accompanied at that Lakers Timberwolves a rather attractive young lady too. So anyway, so my theory on you want that? He's
a theory on what? Why is he breaking up?
I don't know.
On walls. My theory on walls.
Yes.
He's afraid of Mr. Pillow. It wasn't fraud. He was afraid of Mr. Pillow. That's my theory.
Pat, are you ready? Walls was told not to run, is my theory. Somebody got to him.
Everybody.
Yeah.
By everybody, yes. It was reluctant, but Amy comes back. That'll be an upgrade, that's for sure. So anyway,
I agree. Pat, are you ready, like I am, to make your decision about McCarthy?
My decision is that they go into next season not knowing what the hell to expect. That they didn't see enough of this guy to know if he's got a chance or not. I don't think, but my theory is he's never going to be great. He might be adequate. He might be Bobby Lee or somebody like that. I don't know. So.
You're more charitable than me. I've seen enough. I don't think it's there. I just don't think it's there.
I think I know he's 22 and all that BS, but he played for Michigan and everything. Why is he so immature? Why is he getting a taunting?
That taunting penalty was just inexcusable. And if that was a game against anybody other than a practice squad yesterday, they wouldn't have won that game.
Well, it is amazing that they're out there playing against, the whatever the AAA team is, and they only got 16 points.
You guys, did you guys see the inactive sheet for yesterday? I only looked it up out of curiosity. There were 40 guys on the inactive sheet yesterday.
Well, they didn't even play their second quarterback.
No, they didn't play nobody.
They played somebody named Toon.
Clayton Toon.
Yeah, Clayton Toon, who, by the way, is not like some promising youngster. He's 28.
Yeah.
So he's been kicked around someplace. But here's my prediction. The NFL, which gets extremely upset any week that doesn't have the gigantic ratings that they want.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to implement something for the final week of the season next year to prevent teams from doing this. Like maybe even announce that you can't do it or something.
It's a little tough on the ticket holder, isn't it?
I'll say.
Yes, it is. If those Green Bay fans who made their annual deal with Viking fans in August to buy the tickets must have felt kind of stupid coming over here to watch a game, or if they came over to watch it all. But a lot of Viking fans get a lot of their ticket money back by selling the tickets to the always optimistic Packer fans.
I happen to be a guy that monitors the secondary market, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put it this way. Yesterday, if you wanted to go to that game, they might have paid you to take the ticket off their hand, and that's never happened with a Viking Packer
Well, Pat,
game.
two things. Do you subscribe to the theory that with a competent quarterback, this team would not only be in the playoffs, it might have been a good year for them to try to win a Super Bowl? They had the best defense in the league. They got best receivers in the league. They've got more than adequate running backs. Would this have been a year they might have done something?
I'm not sure, because for some reason, Joe, in the middle of the season, their rushing defense was awful.
Yeah.
Every team came in and ran against them. Teams ran for over 200 yards against them for what, Chris? About 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, the biggest one was when they went to Seattle and got their asses kicked. And Seattle just ran the ball the whole game. They barely threw the ball against them.
Yeah, but then the last 4 or 5 weeks, when they got a little healthier and they got a little smarter, they were really good defensively. The big turnaround for this team was that Dallas Turner, who a year ago didn't know if he was running forwards or backwards, and then started off this year and he wasn't even starting all the time, right, Chris?
Yeah.
And now he ended up being a beast at the end. So that was, he's the guy they traded up to draft 15th 2 years ago, and it looked like that might be a waste too. And then now he's a player. So
all right. Second thing, are the Joe Burrow whisperings for real?
I don't know how we decided that we're the team to get him. I don't really know.
What's his contract situation?
Oh, he's making
a lot of money.
He's got an enormous contract. He's making a huge amount of money, and but he might be upset with Cincinnati's got the worst ownership in the NFL. Mike Brown, Paul Brown's son, he's in his 80s, is still running it, and he doesn't want to spend a nickel that he doesn't have to spend. And they have terrible facilities, and they run everything cheaper than hell, and he might just want out of there. I don't know if he wants out of there, or this is just
that would reunite him with Jefferson.
It's true. That's a good point.
Oh, God.
He'll be hoisting the Vince Lombardi
But the
trophy.
problem you're facing...
if they get him, first of all, you get rid of McCarthy then, because Cincinnati'd have to take him, right?
Probably,
as a possibility. And, you trade, your next 5 number ones or some damn thing, and then you trade... who cares about number ones if you got Joe Burrow playing quarterback? You're going to win a lot of games, and you won't be drafting. His trouble, he's been hurt a little bit.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah, that's his only problem is he gets hurt a lot.
Good. By the way, did you, the River Falls team that won the national title last night?
Yes.
Last night, a very good game. The Caleb Blaha, their quarterback, that Fridley guy. Did you see the record he broke? He broke the total yardage running and passing record for all of college football held by Joe Burrow.
Really?
Holy cow.
Yeah, so over 6,000 yards.
Okay, will somebody look at him, or is that just not in the cards?
He's more of an athlete. I think he'll get invited to camp. Yeah, he'll. I mean, if Max Brosmer can get invited to camp, he can get invited to a camp. But if I was him, I'd pack it up and go to Canada. And I think he could. They like the mobile, running around quarterbacks a little more. And I think he can go up there and get a job. he's an interesting kid. You know, the old scribe here.
Yeah, you know all about this.
All these River Falls front runners. I did 3 columns in December on River Falls, starting December 2nd. I'm a River Falls expert.
Well, did you determine that the kid wants to try to continue to play?
I would guess so, although he almost wasn't going to come back because he wanted to get out in the workforce. But then all his teammates said, come on back. We can win it all. And they did. Mm-hmm. But the most amazing thing is this guy, the coach, I think the first 8 years he was there, they were losing. They had a losing record. I mean, they lost every year. The first 3 years, they only won 2 games or something. But they kept him because they're so cheap back then. They had terrible facilities, but then they built a new athletic center, and it opened in 2017. And then they gave him a little money to hire assistants, and then they started being competitive, but it was still the first time they'd been in the playoffs since 95 or 96. This team they beat, North Central, won 29 in a row.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah, so it was a fun game.
I found out, Pat, yesterday, I can't remember if I told you this on the phone, there's 2 Faribault kids that are on that River Falls team that I've...
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I was looking through the roster. 67 Minnesotans on the roster over there. 36 or 7 Wisconsin kids and 67 Minnesotans because they're next to our population base. And
who doesn't love this time of year? Football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Underdog is so easy. You just pick if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. If you get your picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So many great players to choose from this time of season, but the way I look at it, I think Matthew Stafford to go higher on yards passing is always a good way for me to go, and Saquon Barkley's a nice pick to go higher on rushing yards. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code GARAGE to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code GARAGE. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
There's a lot of teams between them and the Wisconsin population base on the other side of the state. So now I got a little scoop for you.
Yeah.
Which I didn't want to bring up during the whole 2-week run up to the Stag Bowl, but Concordia St. Paul fired their coach on November 17th, and they were trying to hire the guy from River Falls. And, they're D2 and he's D3. And I think they were waiting because they thought they had him, and now they don't. So they're hiring somebody else. So, but he was, there was a rumor out a couple of weeks ago that he was going to go to the St. Paul Concordia in St. Paul.
Was it the same NIL style deal that Kiffin got from LSU, or a little bit different pace?
A little bit less. By the way, did you see the picture of Kiffin walking with Kim Mulkey holding hands on the sideline?
I don't know who Kim Mulkey is.
She is the insane women's basketball coach at LSU, the one that's out there dressed up like a clown and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Heels. I said it's not often when you can see Lane Kiffin in a 2-person photo, and he's not the craziest one.
Hey, Pat, speaking of that, why doesn't the NCAA make a rule that the coaches can't leave prior to a bowl game?
Wait. I got you, Pat. Good one, Joe.
What?
You know how much money is involved with that? There's no way the Coaches Association is going to go for that.
No, they can still. He can still take the job. You just got to wait. You don't tell anybody till after the bowl game.
Yeah. Well,
What am
here's
I
the
missing
other-
here?
But here's what the idiots are doing, Joe. The transfer portal,
Yep.
which is now basically the lifeblood of the great programs, starts January 2nd.
Well, stop that. Make it February 2nd.
I agree with that completely. Yes.
Make it February 2nd.
It is. I think they want, though, that then they can get these dummies for spring semester, is why they do it. I don't know. It's unbelievable. But if you're looking, Indiana has got the quarterback, that they got out of that won the Heisman Trophy, the guy from Cal. Well, they've already signed their quarterback from next year from some damn place, Old Dominion or something like that. It is the goofiest thing of all time.
I think NIL money has just made it even harder to be a coach.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes. I mean, what I do get a kick out of is all these Gopher fans. Why don't some of our Fortune 400 companies here give money to the Gophers? They got a board of directors, you idiots. There's 15 people on it, and 12 of them didn't graduate from the University of Minnesota. What the hell are you? What the people are the big donators to NIL is Mark Cuban's giving the money to Indiana because that's where he went to school, right? You got to get the guy who went to school at your place that's independently wealthy.
If only we'd have used the fraud money for NIL.
There
money.
you go.
Oh, that's
You
right.
would have had a hell of a team.
If we could have, if we just been running a daycare, we'd be fine.
Yeah, that's all. That's a
Go for daycare.
Go for daycare.
That's right. That's right.
They have an autism wing and
But Pat, you mentioned that because Cuban, I believe, gave it was around $1 billion in totality over whatever the years are. That's how much money.
Not all the sports, though.
No, right. But I'm just saying that whatever the check was, and you thought, what world do we live in where Indiana absolutely kicks the hell out of Alabama in the Rose Bowl?
Oh, God, I was watching that. But, somebody else brought this up, which was great. The other day, I don't know where I read it, but, Clemson was like this powerhouse, right?
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, Clemson is mediocre, and people are beating it. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here because they were rated high. Well, Clemson... There were always rumors that Clemson had NIL before it was fashionable, Clemson...
Haven't they all?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but Clemson was very good at feathering the nest. But now you can go anywhere and get your, Corey Perry doesn't have to go to Clemson to get his money. He can go anywhere that he doesn't have to go to the hillbilly section of South Carolina to get his money now. So it is the damnedest change in sports, though, of my lifetime.
Where is he going to end up going? Do you have any steam on where Coy Parrish is going to end up at?
No idea. No.
Whoever's got the biggest checkbook?
Well,
that's what it comes down to.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's... but Reavers, you're right. I'm watching it. Indiana just handed to them.
Oh my God! It was a trouncing.
Yeah,
it was terrible. And that coach I'm shocked they let that coach get off the airplane when he got back to Alabama. That Kellen DeBoer, they were trying to. He lost a couple early, and they wanted to run him out, and then they made the playoffs, but they still don't like him, at Alabama, and now they just get it handed to them by. But the happiest I was seeing that jackass from Georgia get beat.
Oh, Kirby!
Will somebody try to lure Signetti away from Indiana?
He just signed a huge deal.
No, he's got a huge deal. He's 63, 4 years old. He likes. Yeah. You think that whole shtick on the sidelines of him looking out the side of his eyes and stuff? You don't think he knows they're taking photos of him?
Sure.
He's a great. He's the guy that when he first got hired, he got there to the Indiana press conference and he says, how do you think you're going to win here? And he says, I win everywhere. Google me.
Yeah, check my record.
Yeah, Google me. he's not shorting in conference, but it is the damnedest thing.
I'm rooting for him now. I think it's fun.
God, yes. I do too. I think it's.
When are those games? This weekend?
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday?
Yep.
Thursday, Friday. Yeah,
I forget which one is which, but the other this week.
I really, I'm not the college football fan that I used to be, not even close, but I thought the quarterfinals were fantastic. I thought that, all the right teams won.
Yes.
And, it was they were either ass kickings or fun games. That Miami team was, they should have been in because the ACC needed a team in. Notre Dame should have been in instead of Alabama. I said that all along. But that Miami they look like old-time Miami, man. They got some athletes. Whew.
And you know who else is impressive is that quarterback for Ole Miss. That kid's an athlete, man. Some of those plays he made against Georgia.
You know where he's from?
No.
You know where he played? Ferris State. D2.
Really?
Yeah, won 2 straight D2 championships. And then that's the thing, like the FCS and D2 and even they're having their best players stolen from them and moved up. It's just unbelievable what's going on. It's
the best hope for local success is your Wild.
Oh my God, this Hughes! What I was talking today earlier. When's the last time a trade of this impact has been made for one of our local teams? We thought Carlos Correa might be doing it. Well, that was free agency, but we were wrong about that. But this guy is just great, and everybody else plays better when he's around. And they got. Here's the other deal: they got 4 great players. You count Faber and the guy scoring all the goals, and Boldy, but then they got Eck and they got Brodeen, and they got this is a really good team, Joe. There's no excuse not to have a run this time.
Big time run coming.
And West
we can't say the C word.
No, you can't. He'll kill both of you if you do that. Don't do that.
Can't say the C word.
Can't say the cup. No.
Oh, you just did.
Hey, we were. Our Timberwolves, they were trying to win the cup too, but they got beat. Was the thing, the Emeritus Cup or the Emeritus Cup,
the Oil Cup,
the Arab Oil Cup. Yeah, or whatever.
That's the one where they had the bad colored floor.
Yeah, that's that one.
Oh yeah,
I don't like that.
Right. Yeah, no, you can't. How do you like to be refereeing that and say, what am I looking at here?
Oh, you'd get a headache.
These blotches of colors would be fantastic. So,
what else is new in the world of sports?
Let's see what else is new. Lots new in the world of sports. The Gopher basketball team, which is a little thin. They had 3 guys play all 40 minutes.
Oh my God!
They had 6 guys play 196 of the 200 minutes. And yet they held on and beat Northwestern, and they got they've had 2 guys hurt and then 2 guys who never really got unhurt, so they're only 7 deep, and but this guy can coach. I mean, they play a great zone defense, and they also. They move the ball around. It's just that they're a little short of ammunition. They got Iowa here on Tuesday, though, and I saw some of the Gopher fans saying, "Let's fill up the barn." I'd say, "Okay, just settle for filling up downstairs." The way things are now.
Pat, you know who would love
you should be happy.
You know who would love that 7-man rotation is Tibbs. He'd love that.
Oh, Tibbs would be. We don't need any more than this. What the hell? Yeah, that's right. Tibbs. Have you seen Tibbs lately? Tibbs, he's like an Adonis. He's still got. Let's face it. He's very hair challenged. That's
true.
There's not much you can do with that thing he's got on his head, but. Tibbs is skinny. I think he's looking for a comeback.
Who hired him? Where did you see him?
Oh, he's been, he goes and visits his basketball buddies, and he's standing like somebody had him in for 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
I'm not sure which place it was, but he's in for 2-3 days and consulting. And
Gotcha.
He's, when he got fired, I think they owed him $26 million. So I think he's in good shape.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Joe Burrow.
Okay.
The Wolves will spend money.
Well, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
They got, you're making more than you know what to do. Your cut of national revenues over this year was over $400 million. That's before you sold any tickets for your home games and anything else. So your average NFL team's probably bringing in $750-800 million a year. So you might as well spend some money.
So I guess here's the thing you got to look at, though, Joe. Number one, as Pat mentioned, he gets hurt just about as often as JJ McCarthy does. The other problem is the Cleveland Browns acquired starting quarterback Deshaun Watson a few years ago. They gave up 3 first-round picks and a boatload of money, and that was one of the worst trades in NFL history.
Well,
but my point is they're going to have to overpay even more than that.
I don't think Joe Burrow, good straight arrow guy, has a massage parlor problem like that.
I don't think so either. He's already demonstrated that he's not Deshaun Watson.
I don't think he goes to the massage parlor and says, "Can you go a little lower there?"
No, I guess my point was the compensation that would be involved to acquire a guy like Joe Burrow.
How much did they end up? Did they get out of the Deshaun deal?
No, he's still under contract. In fact, Pat, when Will and I went to Cleveland a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to one of the Browns fans. He said, 1 more year of this bleeping contract for Deshaun Watson.
But he doesn't show up. They don't make him show up anymore. He doesn't even have to practice.
Nope.
Wow.
Why don't the Vikings take a chance on him?
Good one.
And
something's got to happen because this ain't the kid.
And maybe you can get some compliant massagists, and then things will be fine.
He went out yesterday because his hand hurt again.
Yeah, he's got the problem. He's not. He's number 9 is not an Iron Man.
He might not be a warrior.
Boy, there's.
How about old Aaron last night? He was a warrior. Got to throw a tantrum when he couldn't hear through his microphones in his helmet.
Oh, he does act like a child, doesn't he, when things aren't going right? But
that was a great
game. That Baltimore team's got this quarterback who's fantastic, and they've been screwed up from the first game of the year when they blew it to Buffalo. They looked great for 3 quarters. They gave that game away. And were you watching that game, Joe?
Yes.
When that chubby guy came out to kick, I was saying he's going to miss it.
He nearly missed it, Pat. It was never on track. It was wide right the whole way. He shanked it.
Yes. Unlike Blair Walsh, who missed it the other way. But this is, I'm saying we're conceding the victory. I think they screwed up. Why didn't they keep trying to get closer? They had like 2 more plays.
There was only 12 seconds left.
No, but they let it get down to 12 seconds.
Yeah.
They could have, he looked, that guy looked like somebody I wanted to get into extra point territory, So, that was...
the happiest guy in the building had to be the Steelers
kicker.
Yes, right. Who missed one of the great kickers ever, and he missed an extra point.
He missed his to the right, too.
I don't think he would have made her to the parking lot if Baltimore won that
Baltimore guy, I wouldn't even go home.
No.
Pittsburgh stinks, though. They're not very good.
No.
They're not very good.
In fact, I was reading this morning, of the 6 games this weekend, 4 of the road teams are the favorites in the games because the Rams are like a 10-point favorite at Carolina, and I think Buffalo is a 1-point favorite in Jacksonville. But 4 of the 6 are favorites this weekend.
Who's not going to go very far? The Eagles. That quarterback sucks.
Really?
They got the great defense, but they can figure out a way to make all games close. I don't think they're going to.
Who gets the bye? Just the best team in each division.
Number one.
Two teams get a bye.
Yep, you're down to one.
So who's got it? Seattle
and Denver.
Yep.
You know what's amazing about the college football playoffs for the last 2 years, Joe? The teams that get the bye are 1-7.
That's right.
In the quarterfinals. The only team to win is Indiana.
Yes, that's true.
They were 0-4 last year, and they're 1-3. They were 1-3 this year. That's I don't know.
Pat,
playing football, I'd always like to have the bye, I think.
I mentioned those playoff games. You do recall that this will be a repeat of when you assigned me to chronicle the first time the Bills went to Jacksonville for that playoff thriller back in 2017.
9-3 or so.
10-3.
10-3.
Right,
Yeah.
he goes on the air and says, "We spare no expense. We're sending our guy to Jacksonville to watch the worst playoff game in NFL history."
Yeah, well, with the way Trevor Lawrence is playing, that's going to be a shootout.
That's going to be a really good game.
You know how bad that Vikings game was yesterday? It was over in considerably under 3 hours.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yep.
I was looking to see how much time was left and it was over because I was doing other things. So
Green Bay didn't want any part of that.
Oh, my God. No.
Being the busy man that I am, I don't know what the hell else I was doing.
I agree with you. The league will do something about this.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to put up with it. They just, they're... Wait until they go to 18 games. Then we can have games where you won't have to just give them the day off because every team is going to have 25 players hurt by that time.
They can't go to 18 games.
It's coming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's coming.
Well, then why not 25 games?
Why not?
I mean, now you've already identified who you are. We're just haggling over the price.
Right, exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Boy, I'm a little worried about the nutrition of my Washington Wizards, though. Anybody pause to watch any of that Timberwolves game yesterday?
I didn't.
Talk about a no-show team. Rudy Gobert's got the ball. He can't dribble at the top of the post, and they just let him dribble right by him and go in the lane. Rudy, first time he's ever handled the ball in his life. So
there's nothing more comical than an NBA team that's completely checked out.
Checked out.
They're checked out already?
Oh, yeah, they're awful.
Of course, my niece's husband
That's right.
is the nutritionist for the Wizards, so I always worried when they're that rotten that they're going to blame their diet on it or something. So he's the cook. He's the chef for the Wizards. So
is he also the chef for the Capitals?
No, they do not. No, he does all the basketball teams, but not the Capitals. The only team in Washington that doesn't stink, by the way.
No, in fact, I think isn't the Washington Capitals chef the Italian restaurant that Ovi goes to every game?
Well, now Ovi's got his own.
Right.
The rest of the team has to have regular food.
Ovi was scoring like crazy early. Is he still going, or they
No,
pull him off?
He's old.
Is this his last year?
I don't know. He seems to enjoy it.
I just hope Kaprizov, when they're not at the Olympics, doesn't decide to go down and spend the 3 weeks in Florida with Ovi. I think Obi could drink him under the table, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yes.
I've said this before, but I think not having Kaprizov have to play for 3 weeks is the greatest thing ever. All these other guys that were at the Olympics will be struggling around.
Well, is he going to play for the commies?
They're not allowed.
The commies aren't allowed.
The IOC. I mean, some of their individual athletes do, but we don't. International hockey. They're banned from international hockey.
I could think of a worse place to stay though than be in Milan for a couple of weeks. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay. And go up and watch a little curling in Cortina up there in the mountains. So.
Speaking of that, you mentioned this earlier. Are you going to the championship game today? The juniors over at
I'm
the
not, no.
or the grand, whatever we call it.
Who made the title game?
Czechia and who? Finland? No.
Neither paper had one word about this title game tonight.
Joe, here's the problem. your St. Paul is also being printed in Des Moines, so I don't know what your deadline is, but the Star Tribune's is 4:45 p.m.
Well, it'll be the same. Has to be if they're going to be put on the truck.
Yeah, I think St. Paul might get a few more minutes because I don't know what time we put them on the truck, but
I understand they didn't get here Monday.
no, the first day was we got snowed out. It was in fact I was having a little fun. I sent out some sled dog photos and said Star Tribune carried Star Tribune now in position to deliver the paper.
What did these idiots expect?
I don't know.
You might get 10 more blizzards between now and April.
But I'll tell you one thing, what is being printed looks good because they got color inside now. You know, you used to have...
you got color comics.
Yeah, we got colored comics. You got color everything. You got color inside. I don't know what... I think St. Paul was like us. The
No
old
one can see it, but it's colored.
You could only have it on the front and the back, you know. So it's just that it looks good. It just doesn't include last night's scores. So, you know... They've also said that on days where you're not covering something, the column was supposed to be at 11 in the morning. That doesn't really work too good for me. I gotta get moving around and get my idea formed and then start researching it. I'm more of a 3:00 in the afternoon guy, so it's.
Now, are you up and around the house more than you were a week ago?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm maybe in the house is okay. I'm going up and down the steps a little more rapidly than I was a week ago. It was a week ago. I went in for a therapy session, and the guy damn near killed me, and I didn't know if I was going to live or not. And now today, I had the same thing and felt a lot better. So anyway,
you were asking about the matchups at the 3:30. You've got Canada versus Finland, and then after that, Sweden versus the Czechs. So,
hey, do you approve of the Czech? Now we have the Czech Republic, and then we had Slovakia. Now all of a sudden it's Czechia.
I don't do that.
And you know, I said I don't do Czechia.
No,
Czechia.
Where's Melania from?
Hey.
Where's Trump's wife from? Is she Slovakian?
I'll look that up right now.
I wonder who's working on her.
God.
God, she hates him. I think that
Slovenia.
Oh, she's from Slovenia.
Slovenia.
Did we have a team here from Slovenia?
No, I don't think they
so.
made the. I don't think they made the tournament. Yeah.
Wait, Pat, are you saying you're being critical of the Czech, them joining, much like you're always offended that Trinidad and Tobago get to form together?
Well, no. Czechia is the Czech Republic, and then we first of all was Czechoslovakia. That was when it was a good country, and then they
Stan Mikita.
Yeah, then they split for some damn reason, and then now all of a sudden we're all printing Czechia because that's I guess the new term for the old Czech Republic, which is I don't know. I liked it better before the war over there. When I liked the Yugoslavia, they had good basketball, 6 different teams. Now they got 6 different countries. That's they made geography much tougher over there.
Well, Pat, I think that wraps it up.
I think it does too.
I do need you to sell us a car, sir, for 2026.
Boy, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do. Hey, now that I'm driving again, I was out in the wife's SUV today, and it was fantastic. We didn't get the lousy roads we were supposed to get, but there'll be plenty of that this winter as we go ahead because it looks like we're having a real winter. So here's what you do: you head out to Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. They got SUVs all over the lot. They can order you any SUV you want. Low interest rate. Buick has 3 different kinds of SUVs. They got GMC SUVs also. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers, straight out Cedar Avenue 147th. Take a right. Low interest rates, high factory rebates, and I can guarantee you they got the financial people there that will make it happen for you, because they've made it happen for me for about the last 15 years when I've bought new vehicles. So Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, check them out.